So let me speak to long-term viewers, people that have got a bit of a handle on what I am and what I've said over, what is it, 12 years since I've been doing YouTube. All the things I say have come from all the experience that I've had, and the more experience that we have, and of course this involves whatever variety of education or indoctrination or manifestation of whatever variety, and I've had a lot of all of those things. And so when I'm speaking in my videos, what you are seeing is basically the tip of the iceberg. But I offer you an insight into the length and breadth of the ice cube or iceberg in my book, This, which is also titled Closer to God, depending whether you go on Amazon.com or Amazon.co.uk or Amazon whatever your country is. Now, in here, you'll get lots of the nitty-gritty from down here. And in that book, it opens with a preface which is stating how I got to be here, where I am now. And it all started way back down here. Now, if you want to know why I'm saying the things I'm saying here, if you want to get any level of comprehension, then you have to know what went on down here, and you have to follow the lineage, and then you end up here. So those of you who have been around a long time, and you often are perplexed with me as a person, and certainly with the things I say. Lots of you have bought the book, and I'm not sure whether any of you have really got a handle on it, because like many good books, it's a deep journey, and you would have to have travelled some of that journey to be in confluence with it. When I'm speaking about the beginning of my spiritual implosion, or my egoic implosion, and the seedling of my spiritual development, well, if you haven't had that experience, then it's double Dutch to you. And then with all of the other spiritual phenomenal experiences I've had, and the studies that I've done, and the global travel and all that sort of thing, global travel, or the flat earth travel, I don't know. I don't know. But I've gathered up things, and I have looked into things deeply and consistently, and I've been on this investigation into religion and spirituality for all these years, for 15 years, and it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. So what I say about my journey, people, when I'm speaking and decrying religion and politics and global knowledge, whatever people think that is, what you've been given is this. You've been given God is good, love God, love thy neighbour, go to work, be good citizens, don't be naughty, believe your politicians, and get a mortgage, and get married, and be committed, be consistent, and be safe. Okay, there's truth in those things, people. You know, the stability of modern societies with the conjoining of partners in marriage, and the faithful aspect of things, and striving for something together and rearing a wholesome family, and believing that your government's telling you the truth and has your best interest, and maybe on the side you've got some sort of a faith, religion or doctrine, belief system of some sort that you have an adherence to a little bit or a lot, and that all adds to your stability, and I get it. But with people like me who don't need stability from that variety of ball and chain, I've got my own stability. I know how to create my own stability, and so I've done that, and that's why I'm not an adherent to the mortgage thing, to the marriage thing, to the religion thing, to the government is your boss thing. I've done all that stuff. I've been married, I've had mortgages, and there were times when I was moderately persuaded about there could possibly be some sort of an entity that they call God. Got to be open-minded. If you don't know, can't just dismiss things. So I thought, well, I'll investigate this. And what I've done over the years, I've investigated these things, and let's just say I've read 1,000 books like this and this. And what happens is when you read books like this, people, they take you back to the beginning of time. They take you back to the beginning of recorded time, to written time. And within these books, an enormous amount of information with mythology and so-called science and religion and spirituality, belief systems and dogmas and paranormal and supernatural, phenomenological. It goes on and 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 on. And I've just finished the first volume of this, and I can't remember, to be fair, when I started it. Maybe it was 6 months ago, because I've only been reading maybe sometimes 10 pages a day, or maybe 30 a day maximum, and there's 800 pages in here. Well, there's at least 650 before we get to the bibliography and that sort of stuff. Look at the bibliography. It is huge, because of course books like this, dealing in the deep esoteric, have to list the bibliography, because otherwise nobody will take the book serious. So the stuff like that, notes by the editor to explain what is going on here and there, because everything has to have an underwriting to it. So that is a book in itself, isn't it? Just to explain this volume. So this volume, The Secret Doctrine, was written after that volume, and I've just been, what I'm doing is I'm reading this from the beginning to the end, but I'm cherry picking this one in the interim. Because this one has more immediate knowledge. The other one is giving me the very rudimentary knowledge that mostly I have no idea about, because it goes back so long ago and so far-flung ancient societies and all that. But what I'm saying is by the time you've read this stuff, and you see what Madame Blavatsky with the Theosophical Society has done. She wrote this in 2 volumes as just bedrock. It's just bedrock, people, to then compiling this, speaking about where humanity derived from, and you know, what gods and angels and demons are, and how they manifest, and how they play parts in our lives, and how we can invite them in or block them out, and all different sorts of things like that. But there's some of you out there which have the deepest of adherence to little books like this, and you think that all in here is the Word of God and it's all gospel, and you know, you should live your lives by it, you should believe it. But when you read books like this, well, they will just blow these silly little books, silly little pamphlets out of the water, because you enter into all of the realms and worlds and psychology and mythology and mysticism and you know, all the rest of it. You'll enter into that, people, when you get down into serious study, into serious scholarship, right? But for those of you that have only read this and stop at this, well, can you imagine? You are only getting that. And that, people, invariably in the world isn't the truth. It doesn't come close to the truth. It's just a fabrication. It's just, give them this. This will shut them up. They're so stupid, they're so naive, they're so gullible. Just tell them that there's a God. Look, there's a God, right? He was born in a manger. He's called baby Jesus, and he was a nice dude. And it was just about love and, you know, being nice and not stealing. Okay, do you get it? And then they'll write state legislation which incorporates the Ten Commandments from this guy's father. You see, this guy overrode the Ten Commandments. He said there's only two, basically. Love God with all your heart and mind and soul, spirit, and love thy neighbour. So basically, well, just love. And yeah, it's a fair enough doctrine, because if you just love and you don't hate, then everybody will get on hunky-dory. So can't you see? It's just a operating system for the human being. So basically it's an operating system, people, and it's nothing more than that. And then when you try to find the root of it in here, you can't find the root of it, because it said, oh, God's in the sky, you can't see him, you can't touch him, you can't cut him with a knife, and all this sort of thing. So anyway, you know, he's watching you, by the way, but he'll know if you love him. And it's kind of like, well, Santa will know if you're naughty. You know, you better be good, you better think twice. You know, Santa's gonna know if you're naughty or nice. Fuck me, come on, people. It's exactly the same. And so, basically, when people will want to argue with me vehemently about this, I'll say, look, you can argue vehemently with this, and I'll take you seriously. When you've read stuff like this, when you can quote page and verse with stuff like this, and vastly, vastly more, there's a whole bunch of stuff which just tells you a different story, people. There's trillions and trillions of books like this which will tell you a whole different story. But this one, you see, has had the greatest level of investment in it by the powers that be, because they don't want you confused with stuff like that. You'll be in a tizzy about the world, you'll think that nothing's real, and you'll be realising that you are an actual fact God, and this dude, you know, was just a fiction of someone's imagination, like Superman or Batman, you know, doing good in the world. Just a Batman, people. Just a Superman. Yeah. But people, you see, when you refute what I say now, some of you will, of course. The vast majority won't, because your vast majority are secular. You don't have an adherence to any of this stuff, and it's kind of like, yeah, you're preaching to the converted, Aaron. I've never believed in that bullshit. But it's amazing how many people do actually believe very, very vehemently, and they would kill and die for this dogma, because hypnosis is a very, very powerful thing, and the vast majority of the world has been subject to hypnosis, governmental hypnosis, religious hypnosis, societal hypnosis, familial hypnosis, educational hypnosis, hypnosis. People, it's been hypnosis, as far as you're concerned, from here. From the very, very beginning, from when you started in kindergarten, that's when they started on you. And now you are all here, we're all here because this is where we are presently. And so you're all here, and if you have travelled a path like I have, well, they couldn't get to me down here, because I was never in one place long enough. due to my childhood. I was always in and out of children's homes and schools, so they couldn't write upon my open, subtle, gullible mind. I'm not sure whether it was ever gullible, because I never received any of the information, not a single bit of it. The only subject I was ever interested in when I was in these schools was geography. And that's very telling, because geography and nature, I used to like drawing animals and birds and things like that, and I was pretty good at it, and I used to get the appraisal from the teachers, because they really liked me being concentrated and good, because invariably I wasn't. I was naughty and disruptive, because I wasn't buying into their bullshit. And I spent the vast majority of my school years, when I wasn't expelled, I was expelled from every single school I went to, but when I was at school, I was so unmanageable that the teachers just used to send me to the headmaster, and the headmaster used to have me stand outside his office, day in, day out, for weeks on end. Seriously, I'd just go to school, I wouldn't do any classes, I would stand outside in the corridor, outside the headmaster's office, all day. I would even stand there on my breaks. I wasn't allowed any breaks. I went to dinner with the headmaster. I was a very special child, and of course everybody around knew I was a special guy. I was a special guy then. I was chaperoned by the headmaster. I stood sentry outside the headmaster's office, and the headmaster daren't lay a finger on me. Why? Because he knew my old man would come up and grab hold of his neck if he did. Because he did that to the previous headmaster when he slippered my elder brother. My elder brother allowed the headmaster to slipper him, and when my old man found out about that, he's like, ain't no fucking headmaster slippering my sons. So he goes up the school and he grabs the headmaster by his neck and told him, don't be doing that again, okay? Because if you do, I'll come up and I'll fucking leather you. And that was the end of that. So they knew not to even try and touch me, but I was a different variety in any case. They knew they could never take a slip to me. They just knew I had a power and an energy, even them people. So what am I saying here? We're all destined, aren't we? I mean, I can't even say that my upbringing constituted what I am now a great deal. I was always destined to be what I am. And lots of you are destined to be what you are. Lots of you are destined to be gullible and to be subservient and to abide by all societal rules and believe everything they say. That's your bag. And I've always said we need people like that. People like me need people like you. And people like you need people like me, because people like me make a difference in big ways very often. People like you make a difference in very, very small ways. It's like ants carrying a grain of sand. That's what you do. You carry grains of sand, and then you make a difference over a long period of time. Whereas people like me, we're like the queen bees, and we make a difference in an instant. Or something else which, you know, some sort of a strategist which plans the execution of an invasion on another colony. Yeah, that's me. That's the guy I am. And so we have to realise differences, people. And so when I'm speaking about things I'm speaking, you all know I'm very different, and I've got a very different outlook. But the things I say are not unfounded. They may sound unfounded because you don't know where I'm coming from. And it's from this past 15 years of incessant reading, thousands and thousands of books endlessly, that now I have an enormous repertoire of stuff to call on, and I have a very efficient memory, and it can recall a lot of stuff. And so obviously, you know, all I have to do is turn the camera on, and I can talk and talk and talk without fluttering or failing in any shape or form for hours until my voice, you know, gives up on me. Where's that coming from? How's that coming from? It's coming from a vast amount of information. It's coming from a spirit which was destined to do this. And lots of people have said to me that I could go on to do greater things. I could actually go out there and make a difference to the world by being prominent and being on the stage and being famous and all this sort of thing. But to be perfectly honest, people, I struggle to go outside of my comfort zone. I've struggled to do that for the last 15 years. I don't want it. I don't want to mix out with the masses. I don't want. I've got no desire to make their lives better in any shape or form, because I have a variety of intuition, intuitive knowledge that invariably nobody's ever going to change, because like me, I don't consider that I could have ever been anything that I'm not now. And if you say that, then you have to say, well, do you believe in free will, Aaron? And I'm going to go, well, it's highly speculative. Everything is highly speculative. There is no truth. There is nothing that we can really depend on. And some comments in recent times I've been speaking about the lack of consistency with people who I mentioned, like Douglas Murray, Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris, and Richard Dawkins, and all sorts of people. Well, I think Richard Dawkins is the most consistent because he isn't a philosopher, whereas the others are very philosophical. And so philosophy doesn't entail consistency, people. Philosophy entails looking at things from every conceivable angle. And so if the person that made that comment is new to this channel, well, you're going to see that in every other video of mine I am not following any lineage of consistency. Other than major themes. But if I'm speaking, let's say, about Jesus, then I can speak about all the wonderful facets of the notion and concept of Jesus, but then I can also tell you about things that would make your skin crawl about the same egregore, the same character, the same caricature, the same fiction, people. And you know, in these books, and on video after video after video after video, scholars have delved into this, for goodness sakes, people. You know, don't you think it's preposterous to have any adherence to anything? I mean, lots of people don't want to hear that because they need structure in their lives. So they need to believe that their partner loves them and is going to be with them forever. They need to believe that they're going to live to be, you know, ripe old ages. Otherwise, well, they'd change the trajectory of their lives, wouldn't they? Because if they knew, or if they heavily speculated that they wasn't going to make it above 60, then there's no point in working and saving for your pension, is there? You'd get out there and you'd get your fill of world and life, wouldn't you? Yes. And so this is what happens when people wake up spiritually. We have a greater realization of the so-called reality of things. And we look at ourselves and we go, well, Lord, we don't know what's coming. We don't know what varieties of illness and tragedies lie, you know, a few days, a few weeks, a few years, a few decades ahead of us. We don't know that. So we have to change our mentalism. We have to change our trajectory and how we look at the world and how we operate within the world. And the vast majority of people who are spiritual will just slip out of it. But then you do get quite a lot of these that just milk it. They're the milkers, people. They're the Sadhgurus and the Rupert Spearers, and they're those. They're just milking the cash cow. That's all they're doing. You know, sitting in front of a group of people, you know, pulling on tits. You know, that's all they're doing, people. And some of you may think, oh, they're teaching people, they're helping people. I really struggle with that, because it isn't the knowledge that helps you, people. It's the experience. And you can have book knowledge about religion and spirituality till it's coming out your ears. And all that will do is end up confusing you, because when you start delving into stuff, say like, you know, you start on this, and then maybe you end on this. Well, in between, there is an enormous amount of revelations which are going to shock everybody to their core, turn everybody inside out, upside down, and all the rest of it, and make you just want to wring your hair and throw the towel in and run off into the wilderness naked, because you'll discover that there is absolutely nothing that's dependable. And like one of the viewers in the comments said, when I'm speaking about stuff what Ammon Hillman is speaking about Jesus being caught in Gethsemane Park, which apparently was more like a graveyard, where he used to have his disciples, which were all prepubescent boys, by the way. There wasn't a single one of them that was adult, and this is all written. It's all confirmable in ancient scripture, which is equally as old as anything that got put in the Bible. And Jesus was a drug addict and a paedophile by all accounts, according to these texts. Now, this Ammon, he says, look, I'm not making any inferences. I'm not, you know, telling you what to believe or anything like that. I'm a philologist. I study language, and I've been studying the Greek language for over 30 years, and this is what I found in these scriptures. I'm just saying it. So it's out there, people, and lots of you Christians, oh, it's the devil, it's fake and all this. Well, that's because it terrifies you, because you need the security of this skinny little book. This few little pages just for you. It's not too lengthy, it's not too intimidating. All you've got to do, reading there about Matthew and Mark, and they said Jesus is nice and kind, and that's all you need. And then when you get on to Paul, well, just believe in Jesus and you're saved. Well, fucking great. Great for those that buy into that, for those that just want to stop there. But some of us don't want to stop there. Some of us go on and on and on and on, and we go on and on and on. And then we find all this shocking stuff. The more deeper we get, and the more esoteric and the more bold and brave scholars are which want to speak about this, because nobody wants to entertain that. Who in their right mind would want to entertain that Jesus was a drug-addicted paedophile and all of his apostles were children, prepubescent? Now, what it says in these scriptures, that these people in these secret societies, they used to induce snake venom. And they used to induce snake venom by putting it into bandages and cutting wounds in your body. So you've got open wounds, then they would bandage this open wound, and the snake venom would enter. And the snake venom would be responsible for killing you had you not had the antidote. And the antidote apparently was the semen of prepubescent boys or the lactate of prepubescent girls. And I've got no idea the chemistry of this stuff, people, but that's what it said in these texts. And in the account of the Bible with Mark, where Jesus was falling down drunk and in pain in Gethsemane, and he was all kind of deluded, well, this guy said, well, that's the symptoms of these drugs, and he was looking for the antidote, and that was with a young boy. And you know, it makes me even feel funny, people. It does, because it just shows you that this world is just fucking crazy, just fucking crazy. And so those of you that don't have the stomach for this, then you just stick with the New Testament, and you get angry and you deny people like me. But what I will say is that because Christians out there, you watching this, because you've still been around when I've done nothing but decry religion and Jesus and all that sort of stuff in hundreds, if not thousands of my videos, you're still here, aren't you? And so you have to ask yourself, why are you still here? And I would think, well, you're still here because something deep within your psyche is telling you that there's things that you need to hear that I am saying. Because otherwise you wouldn't have the stomach for it, would you? If you absolutely believed in the New Testament and had this deepest of faith, then you'd just turn my videos off and you'd never come back. But you don't. You hang around. Lots of people hang around with great intrigue, because what I'm speaking from, and I'm always saying, I'm speaking from a very deep realm, aren't I? I'm speaking from depth. Not only am I speaking from a depth of knowledge, but I'm speaking from a depth of spirit. Many people have said I'm an old soul, and I feel like I'm an old soul. So whatever it is I'm doing here, people are attracted to it. Why are they attracted to it? Because spirit is telling them to be attracted to it. It's like whenever we take any entheogens, spirit tells us to take them, and spirit tells us when we should take them again and when we shouldn't, and all this sort of stuff. So we need to listen to spirit. We need to listen to the language of God, which is our intuition. Whatever God is. My God is the Spinoza God, the philosopher Spinoza, a Jewish philosopher who was expelled from the Jewish fraternity because he said that God isn't a manifestation of a man or a being. God is the cosmos. It's the essence. God is the essence. And that's my God. God is the essence, and I'm the essence also, so therefore I must be God. You can choose whatever you want to be, and so that's how it works. When you have a deep level of connection with the essence, and you know that you're it, you know absolutely, irrefutably that you're it, and in reasonable, rational terms, you can't be anything else, can you? Because you are in it. You are born from it. The cosmos gave birth to you. It's like a wave in an ocean. The ocean gave rise to the wave, and then the wave goes back in and becomes the ocean. And that's what life is in this dimension. It's just a fluctuating wave. It comes up and it goes down. It comes up and it goes down. And when waves come up, they come up in different shapes, and there's different varieties of swell and tempest and all this sort of thing. And that's what we've got. We've got a whole collection of different varieties of life, different expressions, because they're born out of different vibrations, people. And so, yeah, I mean, why do I always bang on about, you know, religion's fake and Christians are idiots and all this sort of thing? Well, you see, I could be Mr. Soft Guy, and I could go, hey guys, have you read this book? And then all the Christians would go, oh, that's evil. We've been told that that's evil, because there's plenty of Christians online which tell you that these books are evil. They're written by Satan himself and all that sort of thing, because it's all part of the indoctrination. Christians are terrified of finding the actual truth, or any semblance of truth, or at the very least they're terrified of having another opinion which is heavily substantiated in so-called facts and places and times and people. You know what I'm saying? Scholars that have studied this stuff, philologists which have interpreted the language and brought it all together. That terrifies Christians and Muslims and people like that. It's more terrifying than the devil himself. Truth. Yeah. Or it doesn't even have to be truth, it just has to be a seed of doubt. A seed of doubt. They don't want the seed of doubt to come in, because they know that their religion and fantasy is a pack of cards. They know it's exceedingly flimsy and flaky, and that's why these religions tell you that you have to have faith. You have to have the pie in the sky bubble of desire and hope and wish and all that sort of thing. And, you know, they tell you that you're a terrible person and your only salvation is through Christ or through Muhammad. How preposterous is that? How beguiling, how hypnotic, how disgusting, how controlling. They don't want people to have minds of their own, and so people. You know, when you look at this pyramid thing, you can see that, you know, all the social norms are around here. Everything that they want you to know is here. All the stuff that they don't want you to know is all down here and creeping up here. And this is why, when you see the pyramid on the dollar bill, it's like that, with the pyramid on the top and then there's a gap. because they don't want you to get to the head of their knowledge, because they know all this and they're only telling you that. Yeah. And so it's always been the same people, and you know, religious people, I'm sure they are not that gullible that they don't all flock and fall at the feet of their regional politician. They have many, many doubts about that. So all I'm saying to you is, people, you can continue in your fantasy. We're all entitled to our fantasies, and if the fantasy is serving you, and it's all serving you because it makes you feel cuddly and warm inside, like it does lots of people. I've experienced it myself. I travelled that journey, people. I travelled the journey to discover how it works. How does belief work? How does faith work? What's the difference between belief and faith? And can we really know God? And what is the language of God? And all these different sorts of things. And then my experience has told me that I can have information, I can receive information, and I've received a lot of information. It comes about, boom, 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 and it's in the head. And it's when we speak to deities, and millions of people say this, if you commune with them, if you communicate with them, then they will speak to you, and you know, it's a phenomenon, but there's something going on there. But are these deities or spirits what we are led to believe they are? No, they're not, because we can read very, very different accounts of them all. And for those of you that believe in God of the Old Testament, then just read people like Marcion, you know, a very respected person in his own right at the time, which wrote prolifically about the God of the old Bible and you know, Christianity, because he's looking at stuff and he's going, well, they're two completely different books, they're two completely different ideologies, and somehow they're supposed to be married up. And you know, the God of the Old Testament, when you read the mythology from all over the world, it's all very, very similar about the generations of gods and creations of gods and this, that and the other. And Judaism has just been stolen from everywhere else. And, you know, in the early days of Judaism, it is said that they were worshipping a dog-headed god, and that was Satan, and it was an evil one. And it's the same evil character as in Egyptian mythology, Seth. And so you go back to this and you just go, wow. The human being is a can of worms, people. So, you believe what you want to believe. And if you don't like what I'm saying from time to time, then don't watch my videos. You know, you have a choice, don't you? But, you know, if you stick around, if you're consistently watching my videos, then before long you're going to liably be influenced by what I say, because that's the nature of hypnosis and propaganda. You listen to somebody long enough, then you're going to start taking on board what they're saying. So you ask yourself the question, do you want your bubble shattering? It seems like you do, otherwise you wouldn't still be here. And so, well, get ready for that one. Just get ready for that, people. But what I'm saying is, it isn't a bad thing, because all we do is exchange beliefs. You know, if you believe that Jesus is your saviour, and you know, you're going to be in heaven and one with God and all this, that and the other, well, I just believe I'm one with God now. I don't need the middlemen. I don't need Jesus. I don't need Yahweh. I'm in the cosmos. I am the cosmos. I'm a product of the cosmos. It's a simple no-brainer to me. So the cosmos is my God. And all the wonderful things it gives me and blesses me with, well, I'm in full appreciation for all of that. I don't need no middlemen. I don't need to bend down. I don't need to kiss the sandals of the cosmos. No, I am the fucking cosmos. And if you believe in that, if you feel that with every cell in your body, in your spirit, in your soul, then you are a mountain. And so you stand tall and you speak with authority, and you have the greatest of confidence, and that's the awakened brave, ladies and gentlemen. And when I listen to cowering Christians or believers of any other deity, and they're telling me that, oh, I shouldn't blaspheme God, I am God, I am that I am. What part of that don't you get? I am that I am. and all of you insecure, shrinking violet fools that are not connected to what you are. That's why you're not connected. You've not been blessed, or you've not earned that spiritual connection. Me, I earned it, people. I earned it long, and I earned it hard. And now I'm reaping the benefits of it. And to lots of you, it's just too much. It's just too much for you. It's incomprehensible. But that's just how it is. That's how the cosmos is. But why do I feel like I'm a king? Why do I feel like I'm a god? Why do I feel like I'm the cosmos? Because of my experience. Because of all the things I have experienced, because of what my soul is, what my spirit is, what my ego is, what my psychology is, what every cell in my body is. That's what tells me this. I don't have any doubt about it. I'm not insecure, I'm not frail. You know, when this body falls back into the ground, it's just like a wave falling back into the ocean. It's joining consciousness en masse. And then whether my particular shard of consciousness will be manifest in another being, who knows? Or whether, you see, the same wave never rises twice, does it? The same wave never rises twice, people. So, in actual fact, I'm going to name this video that. You see, that was inspiration. Things just come to me and they chill me a little bit, and Spirit is communicating with me, and Spirit is telling me that's it. That's because I don't do this clickbait stuff. I'm not doing this clickbait. I'm not trying to get anyone's attention. I'm just putting a title that comes to me from the cosmos, and whoever is spiritually connected or inclined to click on that video will. It's beyond my desire or expectation or will. I'm indifferent. I just put the videos up. But what I expect from you when I put the videos up and you watch them, that you think about them and you give some level of appreciation for them, and maybe you engage from time to time, and you vocalize from your heart, not from your ego. Don't tell me what your ego thinks, people. I don't want to know what your ego thinks. I don't want to know what your controlled mind thinks. I want to know what your heart thinks. And some of you live from the heart and you convey yourself from the heart. And it's vastly different when I see those comments to comments coming from the ego. And to be quite frank with you people, I've never ever seen a comment coming from a Christian which is coming from his heart. And so, therefore, I have to concede that they are fake Christians. They haven't been kissed with the spirit of the cosmos. And whatever they think their God is a fiction. And so, unless you really, really know that I am the Father all one, whatever I can do, you can do more. You see, isn't that empowering? If I and the Father are one, whatever I can do, you can do more, then you're even more than me, and I and the Father are one. Just simple, rational conclusions, people. Jesus was telling you all along that, you know, you don't need him. You don't need God. You are God. And in the book of Thomas, he literally tells you that. We're all sons of God. We're all equal to God. We're all manifestations of cosmic consciousness. Cosmic spirit. That's what's going on here.